Good morning
Good
or grand rising.
Grand rising to you. There's nothing good about morning, that's for sure.
I know that's right. So, I'm giving an introduction. I don't know if you saw the title, but it's entitled Creating Multiple Income Streams.
Well, that's gonna be a great conversation today. Definitely gonna be
Oh, look, I chose the wrong image.
multiple streams of income.
Yeah, you see my
Well, streams or
background.
sources, it
I chose
depends.
the
It could be a
wrong image
source.
there.
It could be a source or it could be a stream. It all depends.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, especially in this time, they're looking for ways to have more income coming in, more revenue coming in, more cash flow, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people are just trying to make ends meet, but then some people are just really understanding that one source of income is not going to cut it, especially in today's time.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Well, let's do a quick introduction. Let's introduce ourselves to the public, to the people in the room today,
To,
so
to
that they
the
don't
to
know
the
who you are.
TikTokers, the
To the
internets.
TikTokers, yes.
All right. Well, my name is Monique Macklin. I'm known in the industry as the Pink Power CEO. I am the founder of the Credit Lady. I've been in the industry for over 27 years. And my mission, as always, is to help people make, manage, and multiply money.
And again, my name is the Prophetic Financier, Al Mills, and my mission and purpose is to help faith-based individuals create lifestyle-compliant empires where they have more income, more time, and more location freedom where they can live the best life. And it's done by thinking better, banking better, and leveraging better. So welcome to the call today. I'm excited to share and bring knowledge and wisdom to the people so that we can really enhance our socioeconomic ability. So I'm happy to be here with you, Mo.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here as well. Friday Eve. Um, so most people, like we were just discussing, a lot of people are looking for ways to make additional income. What I know one of your most popular ways is by creating assets, right? Gaining access to assets that continuously have cash flow flowing in so that you don't have to keep repeating the same cycles, right?
That's true. I mean, well, first of all, in order to even do that, right, I think an individual should know what is the definition of income, or we should say taxable income and the like. So I'd like to have that opportunity. Well, first and foremost, there's two forms of activity: active income or passive income. And
Correct.
so much of us have been taught that the primary source of income is that we have to be active, that we have to exchange our time and energy for a particular wage, which we call a paycheck. And that's how most of us have been conditioned to do. Then there's a lot of, you've heard the word passive income, where an individual believes that they have total hands off, which is true.
Yeah,
However, developing or creating passive income is active at first.
it is.
So you have to put action in order to establish passive income. But once you do that, it's all about the taxation, right? We need to understand, overstand, if you will, the benefits of the different tax classes when it comes to income. So I'm hoping everyone on the call today now understand there's passive income and there's active income. The goal is to get to a place where our passive income would either equal or greater than our active income, and that's when freedom begins to happen
When you're able to replace your active income
with passive income.
with
That's
passive
correct.
income. Correct.
So that's the goal. The goal should not be trying to get wealthy first. It really should be trying to get free, become free. And you're
Yes.
free when all of your necessities are taken care of from passive income.
Now,
That's
what are your most recommended sources of passive income?
Well, that again starts back to what your goals are. My primary sources, I can only speak from a personal
Yeah.
experience. And I believe in creating income through the corporations that I have, issuance of private equity, where individuals invest in my vision or the vision that I have that actually solves a civic problem in society. I think that's for those of you who are pursuing to become an entrepreneur, aka slash transition into an industrialist. Your business needs to solve a problem. It just needs, if it doesn't solve a problem in a mass or big way, you're not going to have market share. You know, we've heard the saying, you got to follow your passion, right? You can only follow your passion after you have prosperity, because passion in most cases may not pay you,
Exactly.
because your passion may not align with the needs of the masses. So, I mean, if your passion does align with the needs of the masses, absolutely, I'm going to say that they go for it. But first and foremost, your business needs to solve a problem. So, the first form of income I'm going to recommend is that it needs to be connected to solving a major problem for someone else.
Correct. So solving a major problem. So that doesn't necessarily mean if your talent is doing hair or doing cutting hair or something like that, that's not necessarily going to get you the passive income unless you're the owner of a shop and you have people that pay you for your establishment or something like that, right? They pay you a
Correct.
booth rent.
And that's a great example. So, for example, you're a beautician, you went to cosmetology school, or you're just a master braider, you know how to use your hands. And so you now want to franchise yourself in the sense where you have a shop. But if you are still the one, the technician, the clinician, if you will, actually doing the physical work, then you are still exchanging your time and energy for money. And
Correct.
that's just not a good trade. But now, if you are offering an opportunity for those who don't have the aspiration to own their own business or take on that major responsibility, you may just rent them a chair or work on a revenue share with you because you've provided the facility. So in that case, for every other beautician or hairstylist in your boutique, they will be paying you a percentage of the revenue they generate from their personal clients, or they're renting a chair from you. So in that case, you're getting passive income.
Yes, exactly. So well, let me ask you this, because there's passive income and there's also residual income, right? So what would you say, what is the difference in your opinion?
Well, I love that. We like to call that monthly recurring revenue, MRR, in the business space. For those of
Right.
you who are business people, that's my favorite form of income. One of my streams of income, where we call that contractual wealth, where you're paid over time, during over a specific term, and you can then factor that. So the example I always give in the community is, if you generated $12,000 per month, but your lifestyle was $1,000 per month, how wealthy are you? And most folks stumble with answering that question, but the
12
answer is
months.
you're 12 months wealthy, which means 1 month of your income can sustain 12 months of your lifestyle. And so you don't have to keep going back and repeating that process over. You have longevity in that. And so that comes back to monthly recurring. If you're able to learn how to write creative contracts or agreements where you're paid over time, then that's going to be the case. You know the old adage, right? You've heard the old people, old heads say to you, so as long as somebody owes me money, I'll never
I'll
be
never
broke.
go broke. Yes.
And so that's the construct there of that, of how to do that. And once you learn it, systematized, you can do it. But again, we're in a fast-paced society where everyone wants to have that J.J. Wentworthman experience. It's my money and I want it now.
Yes,
And they
yes.
want it in lump sum today. But I'm going to just share a principle with you that I've learned many years ago from my mentors, is that there's a law called Parkinson's law
Right.
that says expenses will always rise to meet income. So those of you who get chunks of money, there always seems to be a situation, a circumstance, or a problem that arises that you have to touch that money you just received. But if you had it spread out, you could only utilize what you currently have. So if you know you had it coming in on a regular basis, then you can spread out your life and you would not spend more than what you have. And that's the other thing, spending, right? The
Yes.
word spend has the word end in it. We should never spend our resources. We should learn how to circulate them and multiply them. So
Exactly.
it comes back to a consciousness.
Exactly. Now, earlier this week, we discussed, oh, was it this week? I believe it was this week. Our no credit check, no income check mortgage program, right? So that is a way for people to get in. and be able to purchase homes through this particular program as investors and create cash flow, which would actually become a stream of income, passive income. And it also allows people to begin their net worth building process, their wealth building journey on that particular path, right?
Absolutely. So once again, I mentioned the first step is freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom should be where you're generating enough passive income that will replace your active income. Now you can make a decision. I'm never going to advise. And first of all, this is not financial, tax, or accounting advice or legal advice. This is just us sharing information on an educational and entertainment basis. I just wanted to cover that for our disclaimer. But when you think about that, you really need to first be able to take care of all of your necessities.
Yes.
And then you can go towards the wealth and the net worth. Because I know a lot of folks that in equity net worth, they may be worth hundreds of thousands, if not a million or two, but are cash flow poor. We see that a lot today. People have free and clear homes, right?
Yeah.
But they're in retirement and their taxes is kicking their butt. Or other things is they don't have the flow to come in to cover these things, but they have $300,000-$400,000 in equity. These things happen.
It happens all the time. And they're trying to
Right.
figure out life after retirement, right? So
Correct. And the word retire, once again, that word retirement, that means you're going to be tired again because the prefix
it's
RE
re again.
and to do over. And so what? You're going to be tired again. You were tired when you were working. You're going to be tireder when you're retired.
This is true.
So that's just a funny thing, right?
Yeah. The system that has been set up for us is interesting. But
To
there's
say the
ways.
least. To say the least.
It's interesting. It's like, we're just here to be workhorses or something, right? They really don't. It's like the system seems to be positioned to not want people to live free, right? Or it's there. Freedom is there, but it feels like you have to go. You ever been like at one of those places where you go through the maze, like at like a pumpkin patch or something, and you're trying
Right,
to
of
figure
course.
out your way out of this maze? That's what life always just feels like sometimes. Like, how do I get out of this thing? Like, get to the point that I need to be at.
Well, I think most people rely on their own understanding and they don't know how to, or they choose a blind guide.
Oh, the blind leading the blind.
That's right. There are guides out there who, there's no saying, right? You can't lead where you're not willing to go. And you cannot teach what you do not know.
This is true.
But there's a lot of folks out there who don't have that firsthand knowledge and they'll lead people into a space, but it's not going to be resulting. Teaching, having content, and having various things are great, but if you don't know how to get a result, that's a whole different story.
Oh man. So it
And
is.
so that comes back to people believe because they know how to do hair means that they can open a hair salon. No, a hair
Correct.
salon owner is a business person who operates and manages a business. They don't necessarily have to be a beautician.
This is true. This is so true. A person who has never done hair can run your business better than somebody who's actually doing the actual work.
And
So
I can
yeah.
share with you, I've had interest in a lot of beauty parlors, and I'm not a beautician at all.
You're right.
I'm a barbershop, I'm not a barber at all.
Exactly. But
So
that's it. But it also comes from a lot of people. Some people believe that, especially like some of the people online, they're teaching things and they think they're doing a service to people, but they're really doing them a great disservice and leading
yeah,
them down the wrong paths, especially when it comes to like setting up their businesses. Because as we often say, an LLC is not a business, right? So if that's where
partnership or
they're
sole
starting at,
proprietorship.
if that's the starting point, they're already off base, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
what is the recommended? I guess my goal here is to figure out what is the recommendation for someone who says, "Hey, I want to raise my hand and say I need to earn some extra income. Not sure if I need to align myself with a business that's already in play, or do I figure out how to learn how to do real estate? What is the course of action that I should take? Or because you're saying my passion isn't going to be the thing that really drives me to where I'm looking to be half the time. So, what should I do to get some cash flow coming in to have multiple streams instead of just this one job that I have?
Okay, so you have a job, that's fine. You have to start somewhere, right? But you have to have an exodus plan in order to do that. So first thing would be you have to identify what your current reality,
You do?
your
Okay.
current situation, your current reality. Take an assessment.
Yes.
Is the income, your active income, taking care of all of your needs right now? If it's not, and do you need to subsidize that, or are you just looking to replace it altogether? So that's the first decision. You have to decide: am I in a position where I need to subsidize my income or replace it altogether,
Right.
or both?
Or both. Yeah.
Right now, once you've done that, then where are you going? Like in life, you must have a GPS. Now you need to assess where would you like to be, your desired result. Once again, where are you looking to go? So if you're and here's a monetary example. Let's say you're making $60,000, but your goal is to reach $150,000. Right? You're basically $90,000 short. And so now we've identified what is really needed. Your gap, your void is 90,000. So now, how can I generate $90,000 without extending any more of my time and energy? Because my full-time job takes up all of that. So now you can go. Now you can start looking. You can start looking at vehicles, okay, opportunities, if you will, that can support a $90,000 payday. But this is going to probably require you to do due diligence, get into a particular proximity with people who know how to yield or earn passive income, and you need to somehow position yourself to be an apprentice or to be a mentee to them so that you can get a pathway, a process, or plan that you can use to get there.
To help somebody else. Yeah, that's true
Because
too.
and in all fairness, because if you knew how to generate passive income, you would not be on full-time active income. So that's the first acknowledgement. You have to come to a place to know that I don't know what I don't know.
Well, that part,
I
right?
don't know how to do, I do not know how to create passive income. I've only been an active income participant.
Exactly.
So then wisdom would say you need to find someone who's very good at creating passive income. Position yourself. Get in
Yeah.
proximity.
Yeah. Right. You have to align yourself with those people who are doing those things that you desire to do in this life, and you have to seek them out. You have to be willing to, and you have to be willing to raise your hand, and you have to be willing to execute. You can't just say, "Hey, I want." You can't just be a hoarder of information.
No, it should like we here in Empire Economics I talk about action, not education. So you learn and then you act. You
Correct.
don't learn and gather more and learn and gather more and you keep storing it up. So you definitely have to be willing to do that.
To do the work.
To
It's
do
the
the
same.
work.
I mean, when you go to a job, they're not paying you unless you're doing some execution, right? So it's the same thing.
Well,
You have to execute
no.
sometime. You can't just sit there.
You get an evaluation at some point, but if you look at the average 8-hour workday, being an owner of businesses, the average worker may be there 8 hours, but their production is only 3.5 to 4.
Oh no, I get that, but you still have to do something.
Yeah, but they pay for 8, but you only produce for 4. So that's just one of the downsides.
I mean, people seem well, business owners, I guess, seem to have some sort of issues with work at home people, but for some reason, I think that allows your staff that does work from home to be even more productive because they're in many instances, especially if they're single moms or they have children, it helps to, allow them to not have to figure out their life all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sitting in the office or sitting at home doing the same job shouldn't be an issue. It actually kind of. But then I was thinking, like all these office buildings, especially during the pandemic, I was like, what are they going to do with all these office buildings, right?
Well, a study has been shown, right, that individuals who are working from home or remotely nowadays are disengaged and lack the sociability aspect. the interaction with others, and sometimes when you're amongst a team of workers in collaboration, your juices, your creative juices and thoughts are stimulated greater than just working home. Because from working home, here's the first thing: you don't dress. Most people who work from home are not going to put on corporate attire to work from home. So you see, the way you're setting up your day and your mindset, you still feel relaxed.
True. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
But there are some
Being-
people who don't have that discipline.
yeah, being
And
in a
so
relaxed setting.
especially in education, kids and the students, they're showing up to class in their PJs and still in their bed listening to the teacher. They're not in the proper posture to be able to learn.
Receive. Yeah, yeah. So, what would you mention? I know real estate, of course, is a way for people to create passive income. What other, or owning businesses, having ownership in multiple businesses is another way. What,
I'm going to say the paper game as well.
yeah, notes.
IOUs, anything that you can get a monthly payment from. And again, these are all areas with specialized knowledge. So again, if you're in the proximity of a right person, a guide who can see, they can lead you to that result.
Can help you, help you to reach that goal. And these are ways that money can come in. You do, like he said earlier, you have to do some active work in the beginning, but long term is going to start coming in on like clockwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like you buy the house, you might have to renovate the house a little bit. You find a tenant, you put them in, then the money comes in.
But I think the biggest challenge when people looking for additional income is they're more concerned what it's going to cost them. And when you think about moving from one economic position to another, the question should never be what's the cost. The question should be is what? How much is the upside? How much am I going to make?
How much am I going to earn?
I'll give you an example right now. Let's play a game for those who listen to this now on recording. Okay, so Mo, if you gave me $100 and I gave you in return $1,000, was that a good trade?
Yes, it's an excellent trade.
Awesome. So for you, what did it cost you?
$100.
$100. But now, if you didn't take the offer, what did it cost you?
900.
$900.
Exactly.
So now, if you learn how to evaluate, I have the potential to make $1,000 for $100, but if I don't take the shot or take the opportunity at all, I can lose out on $900.
This is so true.
So now, the question is never the cost. It's you're willing to pay the price for the return, correct? So that's how we're able to teach people how to do cost to risk versus reward scenarios.
Exactly.
And in the mentorships, I talk about that all along. I'm like a person, if you wanted to, in the example that we gave, you want to make 150,000, but so you have a $90,000 shortage. What are you willing to invest to get to the 90K?
Right. So, well, that's another thing that people don't understand is that you do have to be willing to invest in yourself if you expect others to invest even their time in helping you to get to the point of your goal. Right. So people just think that just because I know this information doesn't mean I'm supposed to give it to you for free. Because
Well, the law of reciprocity says this: there's no free lunch, right? That there must always be an exchange.
right.
There must always be an
Always
exchange.
must be an exchange. And I heard, like I told you the other day, I heard a lady on a YouTube thing I was listening to, and she said, if I did not love you, I would not charge you. I charge those that I love. She
And I
said,
understand
whether it's
why.
my family or whoever, the information I have is not for free, but it's my duty to charge you for this information or
And
for this
understand why.
resource.
You understand why? See,
Yeah,
now from a metaphoric position, right? To charge means to energize.
exactly.
And so if you want to be enlightened, if you want the utility company to give you some electricity or current to your home, to your business, to your dome, then
Yes,
you have to pay the utility bill or you will not have any lights on.
exactly.
And so that's the part about that that's very important to know. Well, I have a saying, and it's very I'm not shy about saying it. Cheap people are hard to teach.
It's it's true. It's so true. It's so true. And it's
If you
sad.
understand that.
But then let's think about college and the amount of money people have in student loan debt. So you were willing to risk it all for 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, however long, and some people keep going so they can keep deferring those payments while the bill keeps accruing. You're willing to risk it all, but as we know, right? I think the average person coming out of college, they may owe $150,000 in student loans, but they may come out earning, yeah, 62,000 or something like that, is what the average person out of college earns. We know people who have been in the workforce for years, still, they have student loan debt as well, and they still
Right.
don't earn six figures.
Yep. Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
still do not earn six figures. They're about 60 to 75,000 on average, and they have college degrees.
Let me ask you a
It,
question now, because everybody keeps throwing this word. I want a man that's 6 foot tall, that has six pack and earns six figures.
mm,
Where did the six figure number come into play? I would really love to know, because
yeah,
earning six figures doesn't mean you net six figures.
correct, correct.
So if you are an employee and you're on an earned income basis, right? Depending on what state you live in, you have state and federal taxes, and you're probably going to be up to the 40% tax bracket. So
Yep,
then your six figures, you're making 60,000. You're bringing home
60,000.
60,000. So you're not a six figure earner.
Right. And then the system is also jacked up when you're going to look for a mortgage, right? Because they're going by your gross income. You know you don't pay your bills on your gross income, but you're like, hey, I got approved for a $500,000 house. You don't bring home $100,000. Like you just said, you're probably bringing home about 60,000, maybe 65,000. So what you were approved on, just because you got approved for 500,000, doesn't mean you need to jump out there and say, "Let me go get the 500," since that's what they approved me for. No, you can still look at a two, three, $400,000 house so that you can make sure that your finances are in alignment with what actually goes into your bank account, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what the system from doing mortgages. I always thought that was kind of jacked up when I used to do mortgages. I was like, they don't pay. I know it helps with the DTI, but in actuality, we're doing people a disservice when you think about it.
Well, here's the thing, right? The sad thing about that is that, first of all, the word mortgage comes from the French word mortif, which means death.
Yes.
It is a payment to death. And that's why, and what is considered a life sentence in the penal system?
30
30 years.
years.
And so, what is a mortgage payment on average?
30
30 years.
years.
So, you see, you have to sort of think about mortgages was a product that was created by the banks to create assets on their balance sheet. When you have to pay for your house, go to work with active income and pay for your house, how could that ever be a liability to you? I mean, an
An
asset to you.
asset.
How is that
Exactly.
possible? It's an asset to the bank because we talked about it a few minutes ago. They're
Yes.
getting a monthly stream of payments coming in for the next 360 months
Yep.
worth of payments over 30 years.
And
Whereas you're making that payment.
yep.
Now, here's something for those of you who are listening. Really, this is a gem. A mortgage payment has 3 trimesters. They have the first trimester is the first 10 years where your payment, you will probably be paying 10% towards principal, 90% in interest. And then on the second trimester, which is from 20 years on, you're going to be paying about 50% to principal, 50% to interest. And then in the last 10 years, it goes 90-10, where you're paying 90% to principal and 10% to interest. So unless you really know where you're going to be going with this house, if you don't understand those trimesters, you can really injure yourself and throw a lot of money away. And
Correct.
so this is why you want to be in the proximity of individuals like ourselves to be able to get access to this type of information so that one can make an intelligent and informed decision.
Yeah, man, people don't realize that. Another income stream along the lines of real estate is buying multifamily real estate, 3, 4 family, right? three, four, eight family, live in one, rent out the other ones, live rent free, let the tenants pay for the real estate. You're still building equity and you're creating cash flow each and every month from those additional units. So a lot of
Absolutely.
people want to jump in and get their own single family house first. But as Al just said, when you're trading your time for dollars to go back and forth to work to pay for this home that you're in, that's a liability, because if you stop working for any reason, guess the bank is coming to get their money or
Well,
coming to get their house.
here's
So
the funny
yeah.
thing that I found. People have been living in tenement buildings. I was about to say tenement yards. People have been living in tenement buildings. If you're in the major cities of New York, New Jersey, different places, and you live in apartment types of complexes, you've been living amongst other people your entire life.
Yes,
But now,
yes.
when it's time to take a participation in a asset, you don't want to live with your tenants. But if your tenants are paying your mortgage, why would it matter? Give yourself some time to build equity, build flow, and then you can move into your single family home after you've owned a multi-family home. And
And then you
besides
let
that,
that house pay for
your
your
personal
forever
stuff,
home, right?
your forever home. And again, not only that, economy of scale. I'm gonna raise my hand again. Back in the day, I used to list. I read the book Carlton Sheets, Real Estate Secrets, and I went out and I bought a multitude of single family homes all over multiple states. It was a management nightmare because I had, let's just use an example, 20 single family homes. So that's 20 roofs I have to worry about.
Yep.
That's 20 boilers and furnaces I have to worry about. That's 20 different grasses and lawn that needs to be cut in the spring and the summer. If it's in the northeast, then you have to shovel snow in the winter. All of those places it was a management nightmare. However, when I then owned a 120 unit building, I only had one roof to worry about and one heating system to worry about. So the economy of scale was better.
It was better. And the other thing is, like you just said, people don't want to share a roof with their tenant. The tenants don't have to know that you are the owner of the property.
That is correct.
There's management companies that can manage all of that. They can, make the calls if people haven't paid their rent or send the notices. You have ways of allowing people to work for you, again, freeing you up, employing other people to do the work like that, and you just collect the checks. That's one of the ways that you can do it. They don't have to know that you own the property. You can look like a regular tenant just like everyone else, but you're living rent free and they would never know it.
Well, that's why I always say the gems and nuggets that we drop is actually teachings for transformation. It's going to transform the way that you perceive and look at things. And when that happens, sky's the limit.
Exactly. And that's it. Again, our conversations are really to allow people to start just thinking differently about how they are doing life, how they've been doing life, and just to see where you're at and where you would like to go. Because sometimes you have to give yourself an assessment. And we do have an assessment, which we do. A free financial assessment. That's my mama calling. Like I ain't talked to her already, but a free financial assessment. And when you click the link in my bio and you click on membership, there's a free financial assessment that we can do for you. And it does ask some specific questions, and we can help guide you on where you're looking to go, right? So where you're at and where you're looking to go and grow to. So click the link in the bio and, do the free financial assessment. Just click on membership, and it will start with that form there to do that assessment. Because a lot of people don't know, they know they want different, they know they want better, but they just don't know how to get there because all of their lives they've been active workers. And how do I become a person who is a passive income earner, who has cash flow constantly coming in? How do I do that?
And there are rules to this. There are rules of engagement in this thing. You have to learn. There are rules to everything. And if you don't know those rules, you can't speculate.
This is true. It's, a lot of people try to figure their way out in this life. But when you have people like us who are doing what you're looking and desiring to do, it's easier to just say, to raise your hand and say, hey, I need help on this journey. This is something I want to do. I want to start building, building up my net worth, increasing my cash flow, start building wealth, start teaching my children about how money and credit actually works, how to leverage these things in my favor. All of these different things that you can learn, but you just have to be willing to say, I need help on this. And, you're not the only one, trust me.
Well, I think the challenge with it all is that we are in an entertainment society, right? If we're not entertained, then we're not focused.
We're not interested.
Right. And see, but I'll tell you something, prosperity and wealth is a boring thing. It's the boring thing that creates an abundance.
This is true.
And then once you create the abundance, then you have an abundance of joy and peace and happiness. But getting there, you got to take the boring path that most people are not seeking. Because I see everyone wants to be entertained. If we were here having a conversation about Diddy or any of these other things, we probably have, and we put the topic, analyzing the Diddy case, we probably have 1 million people chiming in because people want to be a part of that gossip and want to be a part of that type of a campaign. And again, it's the personal choice. I get it, but you got to get your life together. Diddy don't get his life together.
One thing you could, even on that Diddy topic, I would always say what always amazed me about him. I didn't know all of this stuff about him until all of this stuff started coming out. But whenever you saw Diddy on TV, he never failed to promote whatever he had going on. He could be doing an interview and he'd be like, well, bring out the Ciroc. Well, make sure you get some of the Ciroc. We on tour. We're this. He was always selling. And when our industry is ABC, always be closing, right? So he always, he never missed an opportunity to promote. And that is how he got to the level he got to. Now, all that other stuff he got going on, that's kind of, that's a whole different topic, a whole different story. But that man, he realized he used his platform and his voice to constantly make sure people understood how to gain access to what he had going on. Always.
Understood.
Never failed. And people are afraid. And then people get jealous or mad, or how did they amass this wealth? How did they do this? Because they did what was required to be done. If you don't say, I need help in this, guess what? You're not going to get help in this. If you're not saying, I want to earn, passively, I want to create $300,000-$400,000 a year. I don't know how to do that. Then how do you do that? So you have to raise your hand and ask people who are already working in that space, because you can't go to your coworker and say, how do I create $300,000? Y'all coworkers, they don't know. They doing what you're doing.
I think what happens there too, and then they think that once they know someone or aware of someone who's doing that, because they've arrived already, they should just give it to you for free.
That's what I said earlier, right? I've said people think that just because I saw somebody say that to me in my post on Facebook one day, like, if you have this information, you should just be giving like free seminars. Well, I guess it took me, I've been doing this for 27 years plus. No, it's not free information. And people who get information for free, sometimes people pay for information and still don't execute. So who's to say that just because somebody gives it to you for free, that you're going to execute? So
there's not a professor in the university that's going to exchange that textbook knowledge to you unless you pay something called a tuition.
No, it's not. It's not for free. We put in the time, we put in the research, we put in. It's a lot that comes behind this, and people just can't. I'm willing to share it with you, but I'm also going to share it with you, like we talked about earlier. There has to be a charge. It has to be. Just like when you plug something in or you have a battery, once that battery charge goes out, you have to recharge it.
In that case, it's either going to plug it in to get the energy from your utility company, or you're going to buy a new battery.
You're going to buy a new battery or get you some rechargeables that you can plug in or something.
Well, to break some of the other myths too with that, I want everyone to think about something. The next time you get the urge to go to Google University or YouTube something,
YouTube University.
When's the last time you've heard or seen an elite person who has a proprietary system of knowledge to do something that creates an abundance of wealth, passive income, are actually giving away their trade secrets.
Never.
I want you guys to think about that for a minute. Does McDonald's tell Burger King its trade secrets? No.
And vice versa. No.
Does Church's Chicken give Crown Chicken in the hood their formulas? No, they do not.
No.
So I want you to think about the next time you are going online, Googling information or watching certain things, right? Are they giving it away? So I know you're probably saying, well, TPF, you're in line with the Pink Power CEO. No, we're uplifting you because we understand group economics, and I'm at least for myself, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm into partnership.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enlighten you where you can take the journey with me, and we're gonna win together or we're gonna lose together. But what we don't do is sell books, courses, and tapes and tell you good luck with that, because a tape can't speak back to you, a PDF can't answer your questions and the like. But we're taking the journey together. You
Locking
prosper,
arms.
I prosper.
Right, we're locking
We're
arms with
committed to
people.
one another. We're in a commitment. I'm into commitments. I'm not into, one night stands. In business
In business.
and in personal. We want to create long lasting relationships.
Exactly.
And now
This is not one off. When people come on board with us, this is not one off, stuff
every
that we
aspect
do.
of your life, there's transformation. We're gonna always go from victory to victory, from glory to glory, but we must learn from precept to precept.
Exactly. As Yapa said, hey Yapa, thank you. She said group economics in the chat. So that's exactly that's what we're all about. We want to make sure you have the tools and the resources, so there is education that comes with what we do, but there's also execution in what we do as well. So you
got to apply it.
You got to apply it, right? You can't just, when you go to a job, you can go through all the training you want to go through, but until you actually start doing it, that's when you start to understand it and it starts to make sense to you. So that's part of our process as well when we're bringing people on board with us. But the goal is to give you the knowledge that you need to start making better decisions when it comes to just life, money, because as Al always says, your home is a business. That's the first business that you have. And most people don't run their home as a business. So this is why a lot of your homes are not succeeding in the way that you would like it to, right? So many people are living paycheck to paycheck or just one disaster away from losing it all.
Losing it all, right? So when you think about that, it's a scary. Most people are one paycheck away.
Yeah, they are. Most people don't like to admit it, but
because
that's the truth.
Because we consume more than we produce. That's the first step to becoming free, is you have to create more than you consume. And start living life live each day, right? We've been taught to live life on a 30-day cycle. Hey, that number 30 again, right? 30 years or 30 days.
30, yeah.
So if you begin to say, I have to live each day, has anyone here ever calculated what their monthly expenditures are, but then divided by 30 to come up with what is your cost to exist
each and every day
on a daily basis? And then ask yourself this question: did I produce that today?
Yeah.
And if you haven't, then you know you're behind the 8 ball and you need to make changes. There's no just say, well, I didn't make it today, but I still got 15 more days left in the month to make up this rent money. No. Start looking at live each day.
Correct.
If you have to transition to the next transition today, did you leave it all on the field, on the court, on the street, that you could say, I lived my best life today. I was productive today.
Yes. Let's say your expenses are $5,000 a month. You need to be bringing in on a daily basis $167 a day. That is what he just mentioned. What does it cost for me to live each day? So you need to figure out, what do I need each month and what do I need to create each day, passively or actively?
And then another question is, did it hit my financial system? Is it in my hand?
Right. Right.
Because tomorrow's not promised. And again, let's look at this. I mean, I'm not trying to, please forgive me, I'm not trying to step on toes, but you put in 5 days of work on your job and you die over the weekend. You never saw the money that you worked for. Did you?
Nope. Nope.
No, you did not.
Nope.
It's on
Get
the
your
IOU.
yeah,
You do the
exposed.
work Monday through Friday, and I'll gladly pay you on the next Monday.
Or what is it? Once a month, bi-weekly. Or what is the other one? It's because it's three ways that people get paid, or I forget. I haven't worked in corporate America in a minute. I know it's bi-weekly. Oh, semi-monthly, like the 5th and the 30th or something, the 15th and the 30th or something like that, right? Or you can
Yep.
get paid every other week or monthly. Because when I was doing mortgages years ago, I didn't know that was a thing. People get paid once a month. This lady said, I get paid one check a month. I was like, one check a month?
That's a thing for sure. That is a thing, right? That is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So you gotta, and for that check or for the month, you gotta figure out how to pay everything and still hold on to the next 29 days, I guess, or whatever. That's a lot.
Well,
So
that comes back to the title of the show, right? The show is Wake Up and Win. Now,
yes,
that could be a play on words. It could be because we waking up first thing in the AM and we're having this conversation, or it's about you awakening your consciousness to prosperity as opposed to chasing riches.
amen.
The choice is yours. I'm gonna say, wake up. Like that was the last statement. And what? Do the right thing. Wake up. Wake
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Wake up, change your mindset. Stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Paradigm shift. It's time to change your collective habitual actions and change that paradigm. You can't keep doing the same thing, thinking the same thing, speaking the same thing, dressing the same way, and expect change.
Correct.
Everything
And
has a uniform and a protocol.
I agree. And
And
the
we're here
other,
to teach you the spiritual protocol to get you to abundance, to get you to prosperity. It's a formula. There are laws. There are laws that is just on. You don't have to believe them, but they still exist.
this is true.
Like the law of gravity.
This
You
is
can
true.
say all day long, I don't believe in that. I don't know. I haven't seen, touched, or tasted that. I don't know what that is. Okay. Jump off the roof of your house or your apartment building and say that the Most High loves you the best, is going to protect you. You're going to hit the ground, and most likely it's going to be a fatal action. But what happened? But God said He loved me.
Yeah.
Because there's also universal laws that was put in place by the omniscient one that says if you break that principle, I can't help you. I'm not a respecter of person. You break the law, you pay for it. So that was the
Exactly.
law that you broke, the law of gravity, right? So do you don't think prosperity has a law? Abundance has a law? Wealth
Has a
has a
law.
law? Health has a principle law?
Yeah. Yeah.
They all have laws, and we're here. I know them. I've perfected them. I've utilized them.
Exactly. Now, the other thing is if you are working and you have active income, utilize that resource to create your passive incomes, to create your multiple income streams. You have to use, your job to turn your life around, and you will have to make some adjustments in your life. You may not be able to go to the nail salon every other week or something like that. You may have to cut back on a few things so that you might have to take a couple of steps back to go 5 steps forward. That's just how life is. But you have to be willing to make that sacrifice for yourself if your goal is to begin that wealth building journey to get yourself out of a rut financially. Yes, we all like our hair and nails done. But in this day and age, just getting braids costs about $300, $400, $500. So
And there's nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong with it. But wouldn't you rather, like you said earlier, if you gave me $100 and it turned into 1,000, wouldn't you rather make that $900 profit?
Just
I
as
mean,
much as if you decided not to do it, you lost 900.
exactly,
The
exactly,
opportunity cost, they call that in finance.
exactly. So it's really just really all about what it is you are wanting, needing, and desiring in your life. This is the end of 2024. And I promise you, most of the people listening to this message or the replay are still in the same position that they were in 2023, 2022, 2021. And they say every resolution, every January 1st, this is going to be my new year. This is going to be the year that I do it. Be the year that you do what? That's the question. What is this going to be the year that you do? You have to be willing to take some action, put some action behind your words, right? Success is a verb.
Well,
Yes,
let's do
was
a resolution. That word resolution. When I think of the word resolution, I think of a television. If those of you, I'm telling my age, those of you who understand, there was a time where you would go to the television knob and fix the resolution, which means to do what? To get the focus correct, right?
right.
Change focus.
Change focus.
But people don't think when they make a resolution, they're creating an action step.
Yeah.
No, but resolution means change your vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're still going the same direction you went last year. You're just changing some of the things you want to do than what you did last year. But you didn't change your vision.
Right. I think we said one time people spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their financial lives, right?
I say that all the time. I said it's a sad commentary, but it is true.
Yep.
So
I need to turn
sacrifice.
up.
You mentioned sacrifice, right?
Yeah,
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
it is.
And so if you come in contact with the principles, with the laws, and you obey them, you'll prosper. So don't feel as though you have to lose something to move forward. No,
No.
you just need to know how to move faster and forward faster, riding the wave of the principle of the law, and to fight against it.
Amen. That's it right there when you think about it. And if you don't know how to, if you've been trying to figure it out for the past 3 to 5 years, obviously you need some help. It's clear that you need some help. And as Al often says, because I speak to Al several times a day or a week, sometimes, as you often say, there is no person who has won an NFL championship or an NBA championship without a coach. We need coaches, we need mentors in this life because we need to focus, we need to align ourselves with people who have done what we're looking to do. If we want to create 6 figures, you can't speak to people who are earning $50,000. That's not going, that's I'm sure that's part of one of the laws that needs to be, that you need to abide by. You need to speak with somebody who's doing what you're doing. You need to work with people who are doing what you're actually looking to do.
And stop looking to be entertained, because when you go to the play, anytime people have to show you props, that's to entertain you.
Yeah.
That's stage props.
Yeah.
Because real wealth is private.
It is.
We consider that crass when you're showing your intimate things. That's crass. That's tasteless.
I know I shared with you one time. Remember when MTV Cribs used to come on? I used to watch that all the time. And then one day it dawned on me that I don't like this show. I don't like these people flaunting all this stuff in my face. I don't really, and it's not that it's like it was jealousy. It just seemed like it was overdoing it. And then to find out many years later that was all a facade.
Yeah, half those houses were leased to rent. They were not even their homes.
Yeah. So
they were selling the dream.
Yeah. So it's like, we have to put our focus on things that actually matter. But that show kind of would push me to my buttons the wrong way. I'm like, why do you have a diamond crusted toilet? Like, it's like it's over. At some point, it's overkill. Like, what is going on here?
Well, these are the things that we're just giving the audience to think about, right? Just to come into a place of awareness. I have come in touch with lots of people who are online, and they're doing a very fantastic job as a content creator. And I want you guys to be clear on this. A content creator's responsibility is to provide you with information that will entertain you and keep you on the algorithm.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that the information that they're sharing with you is accurate. It's just to keep you engaged for a period of time. Because here's an example. If a guy is boasting that they had a 6-figure month, and they've been having 6-figure months for the last year, and they've made millions, why are you still dancing and hustling in front of a camera?
Exactly.
Then you made 10 million. You should be able to flip that 10 million now. Why do you have to work so hard? Why do you have to work so
Exactly.
hard to come back and convince some more people? Convince people who have less than you to give you money if you've already made money in that regard. They're not offering you partnerships. They want to sell you some courses and books and some tapes and some mastermind classes. I'm just
Yeah,
keeping it real. I'm just going to keep it real.
it's true. It's so true.
Because
Like,
real players, right? I'm sorry. The real players will say, if you trust, you like the vision that I'm doing, invest in the company, buy some stock, make money
yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah. That's a big problem. And we see it all the time. Because if you were doing so well, why are you on here tap dancing
And
and
that's why you don't really see me on social media much. I'm too busy running companies. I'm too busy building the empire, expanding. But for my selected group of people that I trust, like yourself, you're part of my family, my team, I support.
I appreciate
And we
that.
move, and this is how we build, and we show how group economics works by doing it.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing is that just hearing the information that we see that keeps being regurgitated out here in the internet verse, it's it's it becomes nauseating at a point in time because especially over the years we often have heard when you're ready to start a business, go get an LLC, get a bank account, an EIN, and then you can get $100,000 in business funding
And
and,
personal credit with your
with your
personal credit.
personal credit. And that's not business. An LLC, and we'll probably say this on every one of these things, whether it has to do with an LLC or not, a business entity or not, an LLC is not a business. And a lot of people who are listening to this need to understand how to really set up a business properly. So those are the things that we teach people how to do it the right way, and to make sure that you are protecting yourself, you shielding yourself, because a lot of people with an LLC is what they say limited liability. It doesn't mean that you have zero liability, right? So if something happens, then it can actually pierce you and cause you to be financially injured if you're not doing this the proper way.
But you can become a part of a company and have no liability. And I'll
Correct.
give you an example. If you owned a share of stock in Microsoft, if they have a litigational issue, an antitrust lawsuit, are you as the stockholder liable?
Nope.
But if you was a member in an LLC and was being sued millions, billions of dollars, you're going to be exposed to the limited portion of your membership.
Right. And if you
Once again,
didn't,
this is
if
my
you
legal
didn't
advice.
hear, Al just
Practically.
said member, right? Sorry. So you said member. So an LLC is not a business; it's a membership. You're
And
not
most of the time, a single membership, you're a member to yourself,
right, right.
sole
Or it's a
proprietor.
partnership. It's meant for partnerships, but you can't be in partnership with yourself. So
There's something that's called the alter ego doctrine. For those who are going to come to some of our classes or our Zoom calls and we go deeper into this, they're breaking that. So people are just functioning as an alter ego. You're not doing business. You may be in busyness, but you're not handling business.
correct, exactly, correct. And then the IRS sees you as a disregarded entity, so you wind up paying more in taxes. You're not getting the tax benefits that you would get if you were an actual if you were properly structured as a corporation. And you just need to know how to structure yourself as a corporation the right way
But
when
the
you're doing
problem is,
business.
but the problem is, Mo, in this example, is that people hear double taxation. Oh no, that's a taboo. Then
Right,
you don't know how to handle your business.
right. Exactly.
Name one Fortune 500 company that's not a C corporation.
You can't.
It's the same to you guys. It's a transition. It's a new way. We're pretty much reculturing. We're creating a different culture of industrialists. That's where we're trying to get you to a place to transition from being an entrepreneur to becoming an industrialist, where you're more in industry and creating what you own, as
All
opposed
right.
to
So you can't say industrialist and not explain what that is.
Okay, well, the definition, again, I'm going to challenge everyone. I always say fact check this, right? If you Google, you know, why don't you Google it? Google the definition of entrepreneur.
Okay, hold on.
Watch this, guys. This is going to change your perspective forever. And as the kids would say, forever, ever, forever.
Dictionary.com. Oh, you said entrepreneur?
Yes.
Okay.
One who registers or organizes the businesses taking on above average.
How are you going to tell me to look it up and then?
I know by heart.
Oh, I thought you Googled it too.
No,
Okay.
I didn't Google. I want you to read it, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk.
So you're taking on a hell of a lot of risk to be an entrepreneur. Now, type in the definition of industrialist.
Okay. Let me go back up. Industrial.
Read on.
Select it. Come on, computer. A person who owns or is involved in the management of an industrial enterprise.
But the key is owned. The first one is organized and managed and takes on greater risk, but an industrialist owns his industry.
Correct.
So if you want to be an owner, you better start thinking like an industrialist and not like an entrepreneur. I'm about to say entrepreneur.
I know. I heard it about to come out, but yeah. So an industrialist is someone who actually owns, where an entrepreneur has greater risk, spends a whole lot more time, all kinds of.
Let's break that down. So you see, everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur wants to be self-employed. I can do it all by myself. I don't need nobody to show me anything. See, they take on all the risk.
Yep.
I'm just showing you the words. They've hidden the treasures in the words, in the meaning.
This is true. Because when you said, that's why I said, when you said the word industrialist, I'm like, well, they need to know what that means. So, because people are like, what is that? Or is this going to go over their head, right? So, for the most part, it's just going to go over their head. So I wanted to make sure we gave some sort of clarity to that. But we got probably, I only set these for an hour because when I repost them, they only give you an hour of time. So this has been an amazing call. Very informative. I hope you all got a lot of gems, those who joined in and also those who will listen in on the replay. As I always say, if you are on here and you are not following myself or Al, make sure you follow us. Al is at the Prophetic Financier on TikTok and Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm under Pink Power CEO on both platforms as well. And this will also be on YouTube on Pink Power CEO as well, so you can access it there. The longer versions can go on YouTube, but not TikTok. So I just wanted to let everyone know that if you want to take advantage of the free financial assessment to see where you're at, and so we can devise a plan on where you're looking to go to the link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok and click on membership and answer. It's about 17 questions, mostly multiple choice, real simple, real easy. But it allows us to know exactly what your goals are. Just because you want something done doesn't mean somebody else wants something done. Your idea of success may be to create $100,000, where somebody else's idea of success may be to create $3 million a year. So, or a month. So you just never know where someone is at. So we need to know exactly where you're at and how to help you move towards those objectives.
That's correct.
Okay. So look at this. It's making me do something.
Oh, you're on a countdown. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The hour is up.
Yeah. Well, it says we got 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I put it for an hour and 5 minutes, but it would only allow us to post up to the hour. So yeah. Any closing remarks from you?
As always, it's my pleasure to bring you enlightenment that really is going to help you put prosperity and profits in your hand, not take it away. So, I'm just going to say, tap in.
Yeah, tap in. We're here to help and help move you forward financially. towards economic excellence. That's the goal. Because again, you are your household is a business all by itself. So even if you're just starting there, that's a good place to begin.
Amen. Amen. I'm with you on that for
All
sure.
right. Thank you, Yapa. Appreciate you as always for
As
jumping
always.
in.
Absolutely.
And I will talk to you soon, Al. Have a blessed and
Awesome.
prosperous day.
Same to you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.